welcome from central London. We're just a stone's throw away from the Houses of Parliament in Westminster. We're here in Central Hall for this Intelligence Squared debate on the Catholic Church is a force for good in the world. Well, that's a subject that's going to generate a lot of heat, I think, and some light too, I hope. I'm delighted to be chair of this debate. We have a panel which includes some of the most provocative, intelligent and stimulating commentators and practitioners on the subject. Arguing for the motion, the Archbishop of Abuja in Nigeria, John Onaiyekan, the British Conservative MP, Anne Widdecombe. Arguing against the motion, the actor, broadcaster and author, Stephen Fry, and the journalist and commentator, Christopher Hitchens. Well, our first speaker is John Onaiyekan, His Grace, the Archbishop of Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. And His Grace is one of Africa's best known, most respected commentators of the Church, the Catholic Church. He was appointed Archbishop by John Paul II in 1994. He's also president of the Christian Association in Nigeria. Archbishop, please make your way to the podium. I'm going to give you this little sound to warn you that you have about 2 minutes left before your allotted time is over. So please make your way to the podium. Speak at the microphone.
I thank Zainab very much for this wonderful introduction. I see her face so often in BBC. It's nice to see her live. Friends, I certainly must say I'm grateful to be here for this occasion, and I thank Nick Pisani, our friend, for bringing me here. Not only for bringing me to this occasion, but for giving me the opportunity to speak on this topic, because for me it's more than a matter of debate, because that's what my life is all about. If I didn't believe that the Catholic Church is a force for good, I would not devote my whole life to precisely working in that institution, hoping that I am involved in something that is good for the whole world. And I believe that this conviction is not without reason, and I hope that before my 12 minutes is over, I would have given enough reasons for it. You see, for me, to be a Catholic is a gift of God, but a gift that I received through my parents. My parents, permit me to digress a bit, they were the first generation of Christians in my village. And my father really believed strongly. He went beyond the wonderful traditions of our traditional religion and embraced the Christian faith because he saw in it something better. Not because he didn't like our religion, but he saw something better. And he remained faithful to that to the very end until he died at 91. Now I'm 65 years old, and I've made my own journey too along this line. And so far, with no regrets. On the contrary, I'm daily, every day, more convinced that the Catholic Church is a force for good in the world. Let me proceed by trying to unpack some of the major elements in this topic. Let me start with the word church, the Catholic Church. Obviously, it means many things to many people, but I think as an archbishop, I should be in a position to say what it does mean, especially to us Catholics. Yes, the Catholic Church is an institution, and some people say it is perhaps the best organized institution in the world, but that's not really the essence of our church. We should go beyond the institution, and for us, the church is first and foremost a community of believers. And this is a community of believers that is spread all over the world, made up of all kinds of people. And the institution itself, as well as those whom we normally consider church people dressed up like me, for example, we are there only because of that huge community of people who are Catholics. I'm stressing this so that when you are asking yourself, is the Catholic Church a force for good in the world. Don't look at me. Don't look at Benedict XVI. Look at the Catholics all over the world. Wherever there is a Catholic, there is the Catholic Church. This is the church that we are talking about in this debate. You meet them, you meet Catholics all over, wherever you are. That the church is a force for good in the world seems, obviously to me, is quite obvious. The question probably we should ask is, what kind of force? There was once an arrogant dictator who asked in disdain, how many battalions has the Pope? Obviously, he completely missed the point. It's not about military force or physical force, but it is about force. It's about the force of a spiritual message, the force of values, which has stood the test of 2,000 years. And not only 2,000 years in time, but has spread its message all over the world among different kinds of people, different races. And it is a force that is made up also of the spiritual and the moral values that the faith carries with it. We know we are not the only ones with those values, and especially we share it with other Christians, and we even share it with others who believe in certain strict values about life. And we believe the world is a better place the more there are values that guides activities. The church is a force for good in what it teaches. And I want to refer especially recently, our Pope wrote out an encyclical letter, which is a most authoritative teaching in a document he called Caritas in Veritate, meaning charity in the truth. And there he not only analyzed the problems of injustice in our world, but actually came out with very interesting guidelines to assist the world to come out of its present confusion, if they would only listen. We must also not forget the sheer weight of the number of Catholics. I have checked the statistics, and we are told that now we have about 1.2 billion Catholics all over the world, out of a population of 6.6 billion, 17.3%. And these are young, these are made up of all categories of people, young and old, women and men, peasant farmers and high-tech professionals, simple citizens, and even heads of states and world leaders. This is the great army that is a great force for good in the world. And whatever they are doing, we consider it as being done largely also as a result of the spirit that guides them. Let's come further to more concrete area of the kind of things that the Catholic Church does all over the world, the network of initiatives that the Church is engaged in, especially in the area of social welfare and development, which people like me, from where I come from, am constantly in touch with what the Church is doing. Independent statistics have shown that the Catholic Church is doing far more than its numbers and its population would probably suggest. The action of the church is most significant in communities that are reduced to poverty and misery by human neglect and sometimes by hostile environments, whether it be schools, or hospitals, clinics, refugee camps, HIV and AIDS, in all these areas. If you go to those places, in those circumstances, and ask them, they will tell you that the Catholic Church is a force for good for them and a force for good for the world. Talking of statistics, I spoke recently with the Director General of UNAIDS, which is the United Nations Agency for HIV and AIDS, and he said that 26% of the health institutions in the world directly involved with the treatment of HIV and AIDS are run by the Catholic Church. And this is an underestimation, because I do know that many times what we do are not reported to UNAIDS, which just shows where we are going. The same thing can be said of schools and clinics. And please note that it is a well-known policy of our church that whenever we are engaged in social welfare work, it is always given to all without any discrimination, whether you believe or not, irrespective of creed. Therefore, in a world where very often things go according to sectarian lines and polarized, this is surely a great force for good. Mind you, I have not in any way suggested in all I have said so far that the Catholics are the best people in the world, far be it. Indeed, it is an integral part of our faith that our church is made up of saints and sinners. We are all struggling towards that perfection which Jesus asked us all to first follow. Nor am I denying that the Catholic Church has always and everywhere done excellent things, even sometimes in high levels. But this again only proves that we are in this world. Even the late Pope John Paul II had no difficulty at all in admitting the mistakes that people who claim to be Catholics and working in the name of the church have done in the past, and even apologized. And such gestures of apology is very rare in our world today. We should also be careful how we judge people of other times, because we do not know how those who will come after us will judge us. Let me conclude by drawing your attention to one particular aspect of my faith which I admire greatly. We are very open to dealing and moving and collaborating with others. And this is showing itself more and more, definitely in the countries where I come from. We reach out to others. We have a whole baggage of doctrinal positions as well as and policies which encourages us to look around. Anywhere you see anybody doing good, link hands with them. And I think this is very important for the world of our days. We are talking of the world of today. We need more and more efforts to link hands across all divides so that we can manage to make our planet a better place. A world of justice and peace. Is there still anybody here who still doubts whether the Catholic Church is a force for good in the world? Thank you very much.
Archbishop, thank you. And you were admirable in your timing. I didn't have to do this at all to tell you that you were coming to the end of your time.